Call of Duty Zombies is known for having loads of weird side Easter eggs, and Black Ops 6 is no different. In Liberty Falls, we got to go 10-pin bowling, we got to turn into a statue of a superhero, and then glide around firing lasers out of our eyes, and I've heard on Terminus you can even do a little remote control boat race. I haven't actually done that one myself, but you know, I imagine this is what it looks like. Now, Citadelle Des Morts carries on that trend with some crazy side Easter eggs, and in this video I'm going to walk you through a few of my favourites. This isn't a guide to every side Easter eggs in Citadelle Des Morts. I'm pretty sure there's probably a few that we haven't found yet, and I don't want to get into that whole conversation about do I need to show the pool table 100 essence and lying down in front of every single perk machine and every single hidden power-up. I'm not interested in those, let's just get to the good stuff. So the first one, and one of my favourites that I actually do every game now, is the Rat King Easter egg. This isn't the Rat King from Shaolin Shuffle, instead this is an Easter egg where you can become King of the Rats. They have a really weird political system where in order to become their king, you need to intimidate 10 of their representatives and then give them some cheese. Quite a lot of cheese actually, a whole cheese wheel, but still that doesn't seem like a great system to me. But anyways, let's show you how it works in game. So this is super easy to do and you don't need any special loadout, you just need essence to open up the doors that you're going to need. So straight away, as soon as you start the map, you can go over and grab some cheese from the cheese store. You can't pay for it, you just have to start looting basically. So smash that window open and grab the cheese. Weirdly, there's only one cheese wheel you can pick up. All the rest of the cheese is fake, I guess, you know, American cheese or something like that. Now you need to go and intimidate those rats. So the first one is in spawn, it's just underneath this planter. Just go right up to it, go prone near it. Sometimes I melee, sometimes I shoot it. It's a bit weird, I don't really know what triggers it, but eventually you'll get it to run away. If you shoot it, that seems to work. Sometimes you can just go near it and that'll be enough. But once that rat's run away, then you can go get the second one from just outside the barn. There's like this little well and there's a rat on the ground. He's a little bit hard to see because he's the same color as the ground. But again, just go up to him, get him to run away. Then if you go through the other exit outside of spawn, there's one underneath this van, a little bit further back. So maybe give him a little, you know, shoot him in the leg. Just show him that you mean business, really. And then you can go up to the castle ramparts where you turn the cannon around and shoot out the gate. These stairs on the side of it that's like the opposite side from the crank, these wooden stairs, there's a gap in one and there's one of the rats in there. So that's your 4th rat so far. The 5th one is just in the entrance of the keep and it's beneath these 2 chairs, so you can just go and again scare that one off. The next one is in the night room, so this is the 6th rat that you're finding. If you go into the night room, it's just kind of on the left underneath a pallet, you should be able to see him. This one's a bit tricky to scare off, for some reason he often doesn't react, so again, give him a little bit of a shot. Now, if you're just going into the keep for the first time, the secret room won't be open yet. So instead, you can go down to the right and you're going to meet this lovely chappie in a prison cell. He's been a very bad rat, but the rats, unlike us in Britain, actually let their prisoners vote. So I guess he's going to vote for you to be king too. I don't know if that's really how kings work. But anyway, you need to scare him off too. So scare him off further back into his cell. I'm not really sure where he goes. And now you need to go down into the pool. So this is the room where there's a little bit of water along the bottom. If you go into that and you see where the mystery box can potentially spawn, just to the right of that, there's a hole in the wall and you'll see a rat down there. So you need to go scare him off. And then once you've opened up the Pack-a-Punch machine, so you've killed the monster that spawns out of it, replaced the crystal and all of that sort of stuff, now when you go up to the night room, the illusory wall will disappear, and that means you can get into the alchemy lab. In the alchemy lab, just behind the glowing tablet that's leaning on a desk, you'll find another rat. Again, a little bit further back, so you might have to shoot him just to encourage him to run away. And then if you go through into the living room, just underneath a desk, you'll be able to find the last one of the rats. You can actually hear these rats. This one's a little bit trickier to find for me. I sometimes forget where he is. But you can hear them a little bit, which can help you. Now, you should have scared off all 10 rats. So if you go back to the room where the Pack-a-Punch is and go to the opposite corner of that room, you'll see a plate on the ground. And there should be 10 rats around it in a circle. If there's not 10 rats, if there's a gap in the circle, that means you've missed one. One of them didn't get scared away. So annoyingly, you're going to have to go back and check to see if it's which one it was and see if you can find them all. Then once you have a circle of all 10 rats, interact with the plate, it will put a cheese wheel down, and you'll get some goodies. Now, sometimes you get rubbish. I've had like 4 copies of brain rot out of this before, which is terrible. But sometimes you'll get ether crystals that will pack a punch a weapon, which is really good. You can get weapons, like sometimes you'll get like purple rarity weapons. You might get perks out of it. So you can get some pretty decent stuff, and I think you get like 500 essence as well, which, you know, is okay. That's no problem. But the most important reward that you get is the crown. So there's a crown on that plate, interact with it, and your character will put it on, and now you've got a glowing crown for the rest of the game. No idea if that lets you do any other Easter eggs. There's some theories about what it might let you do later on, but that's pretty cool. You can put the crown on and show off to your friends that you are now king of the rats and their terrible political system. Also worth noting, you can put the cheese down before you've got all of the rats, and you'll get a reward kind of based on how many rats you found. So if there's no rats there, the cheese will still disappear, but you'll get no reward. If there's like a couple of rats, you'll get a rubbish reward, and it scales up until you get 10. Now, the next weird Easter egg on Citadelle Des Morts is where you can get a job. You've already become king of the rats, but now you can get a job as a bartender in the tavern. This is another really easy one to do, and the benefit of this one is that it gives you PhD Flopper, which isn't actually available on the map until the Wonder Fizz machine spawns in at round 25. So if you want to use the explosive GS45s when they're pack punched, or you want to use the ray gun, super good idea to go and do this Easter egg early on, just to make sure you don't damage yourself. So to do this, you just need to find 3 bottles of alcohol. Again, super easy to do. This isn't going to cost you anything. You don't need a special loadout or anything like that. So when you go into the keep, you're going to be able to grab the first one just from this body, like kind of slumped on a sofa on the right in the knight's room. If you look down to the right of him, you'll be able to see that there's a bottle there. Then if you go through into the living room, which remember where you found one of the rats earlier, if it's not open at the very beginning, you need to go open up the pack-a-punch machine and do that. But then in the living room, kind of opposite Stamina Up, you'll see this set of shelves, and at the bottom of that, there's another bottle that you can pick up. There's a load of stuff on that shelf, but if you interact on it, you'll see one of the bottles will disappear. And then if you go down into the pool room, the room that's got a load of water down in the basement, you'll be able to see that there's a sofa down there, and just to the left of the sofa, there's the 3rd bottle you need. Once you've grabbed all 3 bottles, then you can head back to the tavern, which is just near spawn. And if you go behind the bar, you'll see there's kind of a bar tray sitting on a bar. Interact with that, and you'll immediately put your gun away, and you'll start bartending. So this is a silly little mini game. Basically, the zombies from the round will start walking up to the bar, and then there'll be a circle in front of them that is either red, green, or blue. You need to serve them the right drink, so just look on the bar and you'll see there's a blue drink, a red drink, and a green drink. I think it's like gin, and then some rum is the red one, and then the green one is called like B12 or something. I don't know if that's a vitamin. I don't know. If anyone knows what that drink's meant to be, let me know. I don't drink a lot, so I don't know. But anyway, you pick up the drink by interacting with it, turn around, interact, looking at the circle, and that'll put it down. Make sure you are looking directly at the circle, because if you're at kind of an angle, then you'll actually put it down somewhere else and miss. Anyway, for every zombie that you serve, you'll get 100 essence. Sometimes they're good tippers and they'll pay 500 essence instead, which is kind of nice. And this goes on for a while. I think it's timed. And eventually, you know, rounds will flip. You will end up actually killing the zombies, so you will move on rounds doing this. Eventually, the timer will run out, and then you'll be given PhD Flopper, and it will end. If you don't get any zombies free, just don't worry about it. That just means there's probably a vermin left somewhere. The vermins aren't allowed to drink. I don't think they're old enough. So it'll just make you wait for a while until eventually it gives you PhD Flopper anyway. So now we've got a couple of the more normal Easter eggs out of the way. Yes, the ones where you take on jobs as King of the Rats and bartenders are the more normal ones. Let's get into some slightly weirder ones. First of all, Mr. Peaks. There is a Mr. Peaks Easter egg on this. It's not that exciting, to be honest, and you don't seem to get anything really good. I think you get a free perk out of it, but that's it. So if you want to do it again, it's a little thing that won't harm you. It's not going to be too difficult to do. So first of all, you need to go into the room that has elemental pop. So this is up on the ramparts. So sort of if you're facing the keep, you go left just before you go into the keep. Go up there, and then if you look out of this window, you'll see Mr. Peaks floating in the air, taunting you. Now, this is a kind of weird effect because you actually can't see him if you're anywhere else. So if you go outside, if you look through a different window, you won't be able to see him. But if you look through this specific window, you can. If you shoot him, eventually you'll get a little sort of sound of him laughing, and then he'll disappear. So now you need to go find him again. So now you head down to the barn, and in the barn there's a hole in the wall, and if you look, you can't really see this very well because he is a very long way away. But if you shoot where I'm shooting, then you'll be able to hear the sound again, which means that you've hit him and he'll disappear again. And now for the last one, you just go into the night room. And then if you look up on one of the towers, there's a little window. That's the last place you need to shoot. You'll hear him again. Editing Tom here. I did actually find after I recorded this that you have to go find him a 4th time down in the prisons. That's why nothing happened when I did that. So go down in the prisons and he'll be sitting in his cell, shoot him, and then you'll be finished. And then you'll complete that Easter egg and get a free perk. Not very exciting, but is kind of weird. Your friends will think you're super bizarre for shooting up in the sky at something that they literally cannot see unless they're standing in the exact same place as you. So that's kind of freaky. Now, the next one is weird, and I think it's completely useless, to be honest. I don't think this is worth doing, but you might want to see it, and again, it could freak your friends out, so that's kind of cool. Dotted around the map, there are locations where a chess piece can spawn, a knight. I would show you all of the locations, but I went to film this and it was in literally the first one that I looked. I don't know where the other locations are. I'm sure you can find lots of guides online how to do it. But if you do find this knight chess piece, you can return it to the chessboard in the living room, so just interact with the knight when you pick it up, and then interact with the chessboard to put it down, and it'll create this little circle and get you to do a little soul box activity. You know the drill by now, just kill zombies near it, and their souls will go into the chess piece. After a while, it'll be completed, and then a big ghostly chess piece will follow you around, and it just kind of slams on the ground and kills zombies. You don't get many points for the zombies that it kills, so I think it's more annoying than anything, because it just stops you from getting some points. Maybe it would be useful later on. I haven't really tried it. I don't know how much damage it does to zombies later on. But yeah, it looks kind of cool. I just don't think this Easter egg is that much fun to do, to be honest. Now, speaking of not fun to do, these next two are not fun to do, and the rewards aren't worth it. I just wouldn't do these at all, but I'm going to show you them so you don't have to bother doing them. First one is the well Easter egg. You might have seen this in a lot of people's videos. People at first were like, oh, this is a crazy way to make a lot of essence. It's not that crazy. It's not a great way to make lots of essence, but if you get a few specific things right, you probably could make a bunch using this, but to be honest, there's easier ways to make essence. So, first time you get a vermin round, go over to this well. If you go out of spawn, it's kind of taking the right route up to the keep. You'll find this well. During a vermin round, if you throw grenades down the well, sometimes a load of essence will pop out. Sometimes this will happen on your first grenade, sometimes it'll take like 3 grenades. I don't really know why it's different. Make sure you actually use grenades so they fall all the way down. Things like Semtex or impact grenades won't work because they'll just explode against the side of it. So throw the grenades in and you should get a load of essence coming out. Now, don't finish the round yet, because what you want to do is chuck a load of essence down into the well. You can throw up to 10,000 essence down there just by interacting with it. It will keep throwing a load down, and then that essence is gone. You don't have that 10,000 essence anymore. But next time there's a vermin round, so you wait however long it is, 6-7 rounds, until you get another vermin round. When you get another one, do the same thing, so throw your grenades down there, and you'll get all of the essence you threw in earlier pop back out again. And you might think, well, what's the point of that? I'm just getting the exact same amount of essence I threw in there back again. Well, because you can pick it up, you can do a few kind of interesting things with this. If you've got a friend, you could give them the essence. They could pick it up instead of you. So it's a way of kind of transferring essence, but a way that requires you to do 2 vermin rounds. So not very, very practical. But anyway, that is possible. You can even put some essence in there at the beginning of the game and then store it. So if someone dies or disconnects and comes back in, it's a way of giving them some. But you can actually do some interesting things with the essence that comes out. If you get a double points before you pick it up, so maybe you've got a gobble gun for it, maybe you just find one from a zombie on the vermin round, which would be very, very lucky. Or you go grab the one that's in the alchemy lab, you just sort of shoot through the little hole in the wall and you'll be able to get it there. If you get a double points, then when you pick up all of the essence, obviously it will give you double essence. So you can turn 10,000 into 20,000. Again, across 2 vermin rounds, which isn't a massive gain. Towards the end of the game, that's maybe 2 perks. It's not even second pack-a-punch. So it's not the best, but it's a little bit of extra essence. The thing that would make it actually useful, the one way that I can see people using this that would be great, is if you have a group of 4 people and then someone has profit sharing, you could pop profit sharing, you could also pop a double points, and then you could go grab it, and then everybody would get 20,000. So you've essentially turned 10,000 essence into 80,000 essence, split across your team. That's pretty good, that's a pretty good gain, but I don't think this is all that exciting. This is just really a bit like the basketball Easter egg on Terminus or the head on top of the church in Liberty Falls. It's just a way of getting a bit of extra essence that's a little secret but not terribly useful. And speaking of not terribly useful and not fun to do and never ever recommending anybody does this ever, there's another Easter egg, and this is the weirdest one of the bunch in terms of just how utterly pointless it is. You might have noticed there's a big old cannon on top of the keep. That's the one that you used to get into the keep. You sort of like blew up the front door. You can do a couple of things with this. You can spend 500 essence to get fired back to spawn if you want. That's kind of cool. It's a little shortcut. You can actually go find a blowtorch and a cog. The cog is in spawn in some little wooden boxes. You have to get it after you've already used it to open up the keep. And the blowtorch is just inside that first room of keep. If you get those two parts, then you can repair the crank and actually turn the cannon round. So if you want, you can fire yourself from just outside keep to just inside keep, which again, isn't that useful. But then there's another thing you can do with the cannon. If you fire yourself out of the cannon 100 times, and it doesn't matter which way it's pointing for most of them. When I did this, I had it firing into the keep for 50 times, and then I had it firing into spawn for 50 times. On the 100th time you fire the cannon, if it's pointing at spawn, instead of the normal thing of firing you over to sort of just in front of the fountain, you actually hit into the bell tower. This will ring the bell. All of the zombies will treat it a bit like a decoy or a monkey bomb, and they'll walk towards it, and you'll get 2 monkey bombs. And that's it. You had to fire yourself out of the cannon 100 times in order to do that. So what's that, like 50,000 essence it cost you in order to get 2 monkey bombs and 1 kind of temporary monkey bomb. That's utterly useless. Just completely and utterly pointless. It took absolutely ages to do it. I mean, not like hours, but it took half an hour or so to do it. And the reward is just so terrible. It's not even that spectacular to see. Now, again, this might be one of those things like the Rat King Crown where there's something that goes on later. There's some additional part to this maybe that we don't know about yet. But so far, it's super underwhelming. So hopefully you found this interesting, you found it entertaining, maybe even useful if you decide to do some of these Easter eggs yourself. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, turn your notifications on, and let me know in the comments if you found any other Easter eggs on this map.